You've been hurt before, by people you trusted, by words that cut deeper than any blade, by situations you thought you'd never recover from. And every time, it felt like the pain would never end. You told yourself that maybe life is just a cycle of being broken, healing, and being broken again. But Carl Jung believed something different. He understood that pain doesn't have to control you forever, that the moment you face yourself fully, nothing and nobody will ever hurt you the same way again. Because pain is not just what happens to you. Pain is what happens inside of you when the outer world presses against the places you haven't yet made whole. And that's the secret. Nobody can truly wound you unless they strike a part of you that's already vulnerable, hidden, or unacknowledged. The betrayal only cuts so deep because it touches your shadow of abandonment. The criticism only stings because it brushes against your insecurity. The rejection only shatters you because it awakens the part of you that fears you're unworthy. This is why Jung spoke of the shadow, the parts of yourself you deny and bury. They don't disappear, they wait. And every wound from the outside world is, in truth, an invitation to face the wound already inside. When you begin to integrate the shadow, everything changes. Imagine someone insulting you, and instead of crumbling, you feel curiosity. Imagine being rejected, and instead of breaking, you see it as redirection. Imagine life testing you, and instead of collapsing, you stand firm because you've already faced the darkest corners of your own soul. This is not about becoming invincible by force. It's about becoming untouchable through self-knowledge. Because when you know your weaknesses, no one can weaponize them. When you accept your flaws, no one can shame you with them. When you embrace your shadow, no one can manipulate it against you. The power isn't in building walls. It's in no longer having anything to hide. That's when you realize nobody can truly hurt you anymore. Not because the world became gentler, but because you became whole. And wholeness changes everything. You stop needing approval, so rejection loses its power. You stop fearing loss, so betrayal loses its sting. You stop clinging to masks, so criticism can't pierce you. The storms of life don't disappear. The pain of existence doesn't vanish, but you meet it differently, calmly, rooted, aware. Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." And when you choose to become whole, the world loses its ability to break you. Think about it. Every time you've been hurt, you thought the wound came from them, but the truth is, the wound was already in you. They just pressed it. And the moment you face that wound, own it, and integrate it, the power shifts. You are no longer at the mercy of anyone else's actions. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, live differently, not with arrogance, but with quiet strength. Because now you know, nobody can hurt the person who has made peace with themselves. So if you've been carrying wounds from your past, hear this. You don't have to keep suffering in the same way. You don't have to be fragile forever. You don't have to live afraid of being hurt again. Start looking within. Find the shadows you've buried. Invite them into the light. See them not as enemies, but as parts of you longing to be understood. And when you do, you'll notice something powerful. The same words, the same situations, the same challenges that used to break you, now leave you standing strong. Because nothing and nobody has power over the person who has found wholeness. Carl Jung's lesson is clear. The path to freedom is not avoiding pain, but facing yourself so deeply that the pain can no longer control you.